In the last video we did just basic commands. This is going to be your dog on leash. One of the things I've noticed is that dogs on leash tend to be a little more aggressive and a little more crazy, because they can feel you and they know where you are and they don't have to pay much attention. So my experience is to bring your dog to some place like this. This is a local park that has some distractions to it, that it's got squirrels and ducks and children and everything else. Right now it's a late February evening, so there's nobody really here, but it's still good to get your dog out and around and get it trained. Now, Aquila has very little leash training, although he's pretty good. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We're going to walk Aquila along the sidewalk and over the bridge past the ducks and geese. It's going to be a loose heel. It's not strict. He's only 9 months old, and I'm not going to stress him with new things and corrections at the same time. But I am going to tell him he needs to be in a heel position near me. I'm going to cross the bridge, turn around, and come back. The funny thing is, the ducks and the geese all started coming towards us, which really made Aquila a little nervous. He'd never seen them before, and this was his first exposure to waterfowl. So as we cross the bridge, he's getting very nervous, and so I take a stop and have him sit so he can really take in what's around him and get comfortable, and then we go on. But it's exposing him to all these things that'll make him a stable, confident dog. So, did you see how attentive he was to those ducks? He really wanted to play with those ducks. And it's just, he needs to learn that he needs to pay attention to me, the handler, the owner, whoever's on leash. When he's on leash, he needs to recognize on leash. We went to another crowded area where we would see more people, and got him acclimated to seeing people on the sidewalk and not paying much attention to her. Did she just look at my butt? Oh, and so this is great training. I mean, in a lot of situations, people might stop and want to pet the dog, and that's okay. But for the most part, I want him paying attention to me. And again, he's got puppy craziness in that he wants to do stuff. He's not got a long attention span. He's 9 months old. But I think it's good to expose him to this type of stuff so that he at least understands what's expected of him. So we've been working on the backyard with a little bit of training. We decided to move over to my neighbor's house, and we're going to work in his front yard and do a little distraction training here. Once you think your dog knows the commands, or if you need to work him on leash, this is a good place to do it. Someplace that's like a park that's really busy. Just work the commands and let the distractions take their place, and you'll learn how good your dog is or isn't, and more than likely it'll be an isn't. Alright, we're going to do some healing. Sit. We put a real training collar on him, a chain collar, and he's never had one before, so this is a little different. Notice I've got the leash loose, hanging underneath his chin, and when he looks away, I give him a little sharp tug so that he knows that I want him to be looking at me. Now, he's 9 months old, he's curious about everything, so he's looking all over the place. And he gets really out of whack a couple of times, but he's just learning. We're just teaching. It's all about teaching, not about being punished or anything like that. All of my dogs, praise is kind of like held back. I scratch them behind the ears, I give them a praise, I say, good dog. I occasionally do treats, but not very often. Now, if I really want to get his attention and I really want to praise him, I bring some toy. Today we've got a ball. It's a specific type of ball used for training. It's got a rope on the ball so that he can pick up the ball and I can grab the rope and play tug with him and play games with him. But that's his reward for good training. We want it to be fun, and we want that tail moving all the time. You'd never want his ears back and his tail down. Training is about having fun, both for me and him. And while he's on leash, I can train him in any way. So it's really nice. But there are a lot of distractions here and a lot of things that he's not used to.
Here. Here. Heel. Here. Here. Stay. 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 Good boy. Good. It's an old trick to put the ball up under your chin so the dog watches you. Unfortunately with Aquila, it's really slobbery. I should have brought a towel. Heel. Heel. Come on. Down. Good boy. Good boy. So it's fun to go out and do some training at other places. Really, that's the whole idea, is to train everywhere. Train all the time. Train whenever you go out. You go for a walk in the woods. If he's off leash, they're off leash. Have them come. Or if your dog has to be on leash, you don't trust him, put him on a long flexi leash, one of those retractable things. Let them go all the way out and then call them to you and see if they come back. If they don't, give them a little tug. Lock the leash and give them a little tug. I'll show you that with a Melissa. This is how Melissa was teaching Bonnie to come. The other really great thing about coming to a park is that everybody's got their dog on leash. Now everybody's got a dog today, it seems, and that gives you the opportunity to socialize your dog with other dogs to see how they react and make sure they behave. A lot of dogs are scared of other dogs. A lot of dogs are fearful biters and things like that. So it doesn't hurt to get out in the crowds with your dog and let it learn that people are okay, other dogs are okay. They should have manners. But if you're doing stuff on leash, is you want to always have the leash hanging loosely under their neck. It should hang down in front of them. You should never be hanging up like this. Let it hang in a loop underneath their chin. And that way you kind of surprise them. Anytime a dog has a tight leash, they know exactly where you are and what you're doing. So it's really important, if you're keeping your dog on leash, that they can't tell what you're going to do. They need to keep focused on you with their eyes and ears and scent and all that, not with the leash, because when they can work just the leash, they don't pay attention to anything else and they get defocused on what they're supposed to be doing. So a loose leash underneath the dog's chin, and then if you need to, I always keep my thumb over my leash like this so that he can't really get it out of my hand.
And strange things bother puppies. Here's Aquila. He's focused on that sprinkler or whatever that is side of that tree, and he's afraid of it. It's pretty funny. But that's puppies. You gotta give puppies a little leeway in what they're doing. But it's good that people walk by and see him and look at him and stare at him, and he's not bothered by them. And it's really good training for him. And it's good that he goes down. He does come back up, but that's because he's a puppy. And we just put him back down and say, stay down. Good training. The Biltmore Estate.
Well, Leash training wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk a little bit about what equipment you're going to use. These are some of the leashes I use for training. There doesn't really matter what leashes you use. These are leather. This is a 6-foot leash. This is a 2-foot leash that goes onto itself and can be made really short so that you really can have the dog held very close. If you got a dog that you never know, or if you got other dogs that are aggressive. This is a regular leather leash that's 6 foot long. I think actually it's more like a 7 foot long leash. It's a really nice leash. This is the Flexi leash. My Flexi leash is 35 feet long. I highly recommend Kong products. I will put that on my web page if anybody wants to buy it from the web page, which is really Amazon. This is the ball I use as a treat. If your dog is ball happy, you can throw that ball and then you can get it out of its mouth by holding onto the rope and playing tug with it. It's a nice thing. This is a nylon leash that Aquila, when he was a puppy, I had 3 of these. I keep them in the car. I keep them in when I had 2 cars and the trailer. I kept one in each area where the dogs might be off leash and resting, so I could grab one if I needed one quick. But puppy teeth go right through these like nothing else. But nylon leashes, they're nice. And this is an old cotton leash that it's made out of cotton webbing. It's really nice. You can wash them. I throw them in the wash. They get a little ratty. You can see it's getting a little worn. But they used to cost almost nothing. Used to cost about $4. Now I think they're up around $12, and the nylon ones are up around 15, and the leather ones are somewhere around 25 or 30. I believe the Kong was around 50. Again, it's a 35 footer and it's really nice. And if you're not sure what a Flexi leash is, you pull it out and the dog can go wherever he wants to, and you push the button, and it locks it. So he's like a regular leash. And then you hit flip the little thing and he's out to free again. But I think that's, as a training tool, those are pretty nice if you use them for training. If you just use them for the dog to have a easy rein, then they're not as good. You're just giving the dog permission to do whatever he wants and behave any way he wants to. Now let's talk about collars. And I'm pretty strict on my collars. These are all the collars I've ever used on any of my dogs. If you see the standard choke chain collars, they're different colors for each dog. The golden ones were for my 2 golden retrievers. The purple ones were for Caesar and Dakota. And the red one was for my first German Shepherd, Leah. Who didn't wear it too much because she got too big for it. As you can see, it's a little short compared to the others. This leash, this collar here is called a Herm Springer Fur Saver. A Herm Springer Fur Saver. And these supposedly don't hurt their fur as much. They're also a collar used in trials because you can't do a good correction with them. It's pretty obvious if you're doing anything to correct your dog in a trial. So, and they're, I got a couple of those. Too many of everything. This is an old collar that I had for one of my first dogs. It's just a piece of rope with rings on the end. And in my opinion, that's a very severe collar to use. For one, because it slides so easily, can tighten right up and kind of hang the dog. If you've got a dog that never has any trouble, then that's a great collar because it looks pretty and it doesn't do anything bad to their fur. It does tend to get really nasty if you get it wet with the dog. And this, of course, is the prong collar that so many people are against, but the truth is it's one of the best training tools there is. And these are one size for one dog, and you have extra links that you can put in there to make it bigger or smaller, take links out. The way these chains work, they come like this, loose in a chain, and you just lay it inside the ring and turn it into a loop. That's how you get these to work. And then it just slides over the dog's head. So it's really important you get the right size. So get a real collar for training. Don't get one of those stupid things that goes off over the nose or around the neck or a harness or whatever. You need to communicate with your dog through its neck. Dogs' necks are sensitive. You don't want to be whipping them around. You know, you don't want to pull them by their neck. You don't want them going all the time, or you're not teaching them anything except to pull. You put a decent collar on them, and when they are bad, you just go give it a little zip, and they know right away that, oh, I did something wrong. It's a clear communications. So, all right, I think that's all we have for leash training today. We may revisit this, or this may be my last video. Let me know in the comments if you're following these, if you want more stuff, more information, how you break your dog of some problem. But thank you so much for watching this. It's filling in the winter while I'm working on the trailer. I'll have some trailer videos coming up. I'll have some camping videos and some hiking videos coming up, and a special movie madness video coming up. So stay tuned. Lots on the horizon. I'm having fun doing these. So thanks, folks. We'll see you on the road.